There's no I in team mentality. You can't find it better. But what happens when you got a team that ain't so cohesive? That's not working together, not on the same page. How bad can it be?
Well, so I also have experience in this as well. So when we were working with Evolution, I remember at the tail end of it, trying to get that last album out, trying to get shows together, everybody kind of debating over who's going to take over what responsibility. And I felt like a lot of things that could have been done or should have been done weren't done. And a lot of us kind of fell short in those areas. But that was the only team experience that I had. And once again, when I moved here, there wasn't at the time like we'll call it a group of people that were into filmmaking. Everybody was kind of doing their own thing. I think there were some groups in the past, but there wasn't really anything in the present. And so I was like, all right, I need a team. Like, I've had a team. We've had ups, we've had downs, but I no longer can do this alone. I've tried, it's not working. I'm going to find other people. And so I got on Facebook, got into some of the Facebook groups, kind of created groups. We had people coming to meetings. We were in pre-production. We launched, and I was like right at the helm of the wheel. Like, I'm running the show now. And my intention was never to run the show. My intention was to just become a part of somebody else's team. Right. I wasn't really interested in showing up and being the man in charge. All right, guys, this is what I want, and this is what we're going to do. That was never my intention. My intention was to find something like that already exists and go, hey, look, I know how to do this too. Can I come? Like, that was what I was hoping for. And I ended up like, being the leader, I guess. And I like embarrassingly bombed.
How so? That was my next question.
There was responsibilities that needed to be done. To be a leader, you have to have that leadership mindset. You have to be focused on getting other people to do their jobs. You're in charge. Yeah. And even though we're all there because we want to be there and because we want to get things done, there still needs to be somebody to go, hey, this is your responsibility, make sure it gets done. Hey, that's not your responsibility, this is, make sure it gets done. And I didn't do any of that. I did not have a leader mindset when I was involved. Like, I didn't want to be the boss at the time. I didn't want that responsibility, and it showed, because none of the productions that we were involved in went anywhere. We didn't finish half of them. We would open up the floor for new members to come and sign up, and those new members would come, and it wouldn't go anywhere. And we were growing, but nothing was happening, and nothing was moving forward. And I don't feel like people were looking to me to get them done. I just feel like I'm the one that created the opportunity for all of this to happen. Right. And I was standing back like this the whole time. And it wasn't until a couple years later, right before COVID hit, unfortunately, when I snapped out of where I was at and realized what needed to be done. And then we got 4 or 5 productions complete in a year. Yeah. And, I don't take full responsibility for that. I had a great team that I was working with. Right. But I changed my attitude. Yeah. And my production, my quantity of productions dramatically increased. Yeah. And
I remember when you were going through that, you would call me and we would discuss the projects that you had going on. And I remember the enthusiasm in your voice whenever you would bring up, I have an audio guy, and I have this person, and I have that person. And then I had the opportunity to come up and see all these people that you were working with at the time too. And I was just really taken aback just how in such little time how you were able to pull together what you did. And then next thing you know, everybody kind of disappeared.
Yeah.
What happened there?
Well, that was my poor leadership skills. You know, like I said, I don't think people were looking to me to be a leader. I don't think that was the case.
Yeah.
It wasn't Brandon's team. But looking back at it now, when I was relying on other people to take the helm or relying on other people to step up and do things on their own, I should have just stepped up and said, do this, do that. We got to get to this point. I was too busy trying to just be a member, and there was nobody, there was no coach. You know, we were all doing just our one job that we showed up for. I think that if I had put more into it, I don't think that there would have been the disbandment that there was.
Yeah.
And like I said, when I finally realized where I was falling short, you know, I know we've talked about this in the past about giving 100% to everything that you do. I was only given 50%.
Right.
And I thought that was all that I needed to do. I thought if everybody puts in their percent, we'll have that 100%, we'll move forward. But I should have been devoting 100, and I wasn't doing that.
And that's really a lot of the demise of teams, man, because it's hard to get a group of people to think in one mindset or be a part of one agenda. It's very difficult. You get people that are hella talented, but not motivated to do much of anything.
Right.
And then you get people that have to put in the work to get the results that the talented people get, but they may lack the confidence in themselves because they know that they're not as talented or whatever the case may be. Then you get some people that just thinks that it's something cool to do, so they go along for a little while, and then once they see that this ain't a made for MTV movie, you know, they bail on you or they stop giving what is needed to further the agenda. Is that part of it? Like, I understand completely, because even in Evolution, I feel like I was the coach of Evolution, but because I didn't create Evolution, it was hard for me a lot of times to step into the leadership role that we might have needed to really push our agenda further, because I felt like it wasn't my band. I was actually the last motherfucker to join.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I had a lot of experience in the game when I got there. So I know the guys a lot of times look to me for guidance, but because I felt like it was their band, like even a lot of times, even when I describe Evolution, I say, yeah, them kids were talented.
Right.
Even though I'm a part of what they have going on. But I still look at it like I'm on the outside kind of looking in, because I didn't create it, or I wasn't there from its inception. It went through several members before I got there. And then we've gone through some members since I've been there, you know? So I might have shortchanged the band in those days to where I probably knew that we should have moved this way, but I didn't maybe push the issue enough. You know what I mean? Because I might have felt like I've taken over something that somebody else created, and I didn't really want to move those boundaries. Same when we moved into television, it was kind of like that as well. I was the contract guy, not the employee. So even though it's I'm producing the shows, I still didn't feel like the leader, because I had no final decisions in anything other than the creation of the show itself.
Yeah.
You know, and although I knew the guys around me had very little, if any, experience in entertainment or working in television or anything. I knew what I brought to the table, but because it, again, wasn't mine, I might not have pushed the way that needed to go also to take it maybe next level as well. So.
Well, and I think part of the issue that we had, at least with Evolution, and then with the time that we were working on the show, everybody has different experience histories, and and I think that a successful team, you need more than one person to have the experience. Like, I feel like everyone needs to be on the same page, and like, you came to the group with the most experience out of all of us,
right?
Probably more than everyone else combined.
Right.
And,
yeah.
It's like you were the lead singer of a band, and then you went and found these random guys and was like, hey, have y'all ever been in a band?
Right.
No. Well, come, let's be in a band. I'll teach you how to do it. And then we're all going to show up with our own attitudes and our own ways of how we just assume everything works. And as we continue to fail over and over and over again, you're in the background like, well, I tried to tell you that.
Right. Right.
And it just created so much conflict that, it eventually separated, because nobody would get on the same page.
Yeah.
Like, one of the productions that I was on, we had a guy that has a lot of experience, and he's very good at what he does. And we would show up and he would go, all right, this, he wasn't a director or a producer, but he had a ton of experience. So he was like, all right, this is what needs to happen. And everybody else is like, I don't want to do it that way. And he's like, well, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
Like, well, I don't want to do it that way. And you could just see the frustration in his eyes, because he's traveled all the way down here to work with us.
Right.
He's not getting paid anything.
Right.
And, here's 7 other people that don't want to listen to what he has to say. And it just created conflict right off the bat, because we refuse, to be on the same page, to listen and try. And I think that's something else that you can't rely on a leader to do that. I think you have to be willing to get out of your own ego and be a part of the team that you're joining.
Yes.
Which is something else that I've learned.
But why do you think that there was so much resistance? Because I face a lot of that too. It makes me sometimes question my leadership skills when I get resistance.